Hello there, welcome to my channel. My name is Janice and I do makeup videos normally. Makeup chat, lifestyle. Well, I'm not really lifestyle because I don't show you my cooking or anything. But today I'm doing a video with a little bit of a difference. I just want to explain my story because some of you may have seen a change in me over the last year or so. You may have seen that my sort of like with my YouTube uploads are very much like this. But sometimes I tend to stay away from YouTube. I don't upload very much, and when I do upload their videos I've done ages ago. I just want to explain what was going on because I know a few of you have messaged me and asked me and sort of said, you know, are you okay? We have noticed that you've changed. Some people have noticed that I've become more sassy and more confident and funnier. I just want to say that, yeah, for 6 years I was on some medication that made me different, I wasn't the person that I really was. Some of you will remember that I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia when Sophia was 6 months old. No, she's now coming up to 9. So I've been diagnosed with this 8 years, and they've been trying to find different meds or whatever to help me, to help alleviate the situation. Because when I was first diagnosed, my legs were absolutely in agony all the time. I couldn't hardly walk. I was on sticks. My whole persona changed because I was in so much pain, and they'd done different things to try and help alleviate that pain. To start off with, the smaller doses of medication helped. I went on to citalopram, I think, to start off with, which was great because it relaxed the muscles a little bit. But as time went on and my body got more and more used to what was being put into me, the more pain I was actually getting from the condition. For those of you who don't know, fibromyalgia is basically, it means fibres, the fibres in your body, like your muscles, your tendons, anything that's like tissue, anything like that hurts, and that's what myalgia is. It's pain, and it can cause all sorts of things. It can cause stress, it can cause depression, it can cause spasms, muscle spasms, it can it can cause all sorts of things. And yes, they said it can't put you in a wheelchair, but yes, it can put you in a wheelchair. And the worst of it is that it is all in here. And I don't mean it's all in here as in you're deluded. It's all in here because it's your brain that's actually making this happen. Fibromyalgia, basically, it is the pain receptors in your brain just going, oh my goodness, you're being attacked by all these different pain things. So your brain will send messages down to your parts of your body that will say, you're in pain. So you genuinely feel that pain. It's not in your head as in the pain's not really there. The pain is really there, but there's nothing causing it. And that is the problem. And they also think that you've got more nerve endings than what a normal person's got. There are benefits because, like, if I cut myself, I do heal a lot quicker. If I burn myself, I heal a lot quicker than like my hubby or my daughter would. When I've had accidents and stuff, I have kind of like gotten over them a lot quicker. Operations I've got over a lot quicker than the norm. And again, I think that's possibly down to having more nerve endings so that you sort of like knit together back quickly. I don't know, I could be talking out of my behind. I must be like a turtle that I can breathe and talk out of my arse. So yeah, it's not a particularly nice condition to live with. So there's all different medications that they've tried me on over the years, and then about 6 years ago, or 6.5 years ago now, they put me on morphine patches. The first ones they put me on were called Butrans, which is a synthetic morphine, which was great to start off with. I started on quite a low dose. The patches were like huge, so you'll go back in some of my videos and you will actually see like a massive plaster on my arm. It's not a plaster, it was a pain patch. And obviously as the years went on, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and more medication was being pumped into me. And then 2.5 years ago, it was a case of I had to come off them because I was allergic to them. They just made my skin hurt. They were huge, and I used to have to put one on an arm one week, and then one on my back the second week, one on my shoulder the next week. And they were all over, and they left these like red, itchy, for weeks skin. Just horrible, absolutely horrible. My skin all dried out, it was flaky. I had developed that condition where you get all bumpy bits on your. I mean, I've got that anyway, the KP where you have bumps, but the KP got really, really bad on my arms and my face. And I didn't realise that this was possibly down to that. I mean, it could have possibly been down to my thyroxine, but the dose hasn't changed on that for years, and I haven't got this problem now. So they decided that, well, we need to change your patch, so we're going to put you on something called fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is between 100 and 150 times stronger than morphine. So you're talking like really strong medication. And by the time summer came last year, I was on the top dose of 50 milligrams an hour. And it was a patch you had to change every 3 days. Now, all the time that I was on fentanyl and Butrans, my personality changed, my character changed. I turned into somebody that weren't particularly very nice. And when I say weren't particularly very nice, what I'm talking about is I weren't great to live with. I was quite moody. I was happy to everybody else, but I was quite moody. But the pain I was in was getting worse. And the breaking point came last year when I'd got myself to a point where I was okay. I was doing all right. And I bent over to get into my car, and my back went, and I actually slipped a disc. Well, actually slipped 2 discs, which wasn't great. As you can imagine, it was agony. I was in a not very good state for a while, and they done an MRI, and they could see that I'd slipped these discs, and you know that there was nothing they could do about it. I've got to just go with it. Now, they reckon that it took 6 weeks for the discs to go back in, but the problem was, and when I say the discs gone back in, I'm talking about so that they're not quite so. I've got a prolapse disc anyway, but they were bulging even more, and they were right out. Well, not right out, because otherwise they'd be floating around your body, wouldn't they? But they were prolapsed even more, and there was 2 of them. But it took about 6 weeks for them to sort of settle down. The problem was, they settled down, but the pain stayed with me, and the pain got worse and worse and worse. And I was in the middle of a flare-up. I was in the middle of a really bad fibromyalgia flare-up, and this happened all in, I want to say September time. I think it was September time. And it was bad, and I was oh God, I had weeks and weeks off work where I couldn't go to work, which, you know, wasn't good. I lost a lot of money with my business over the Christmas period because I couldn't do the photography that I normally do. A lot of my customers had to go elsewhere, couldn't work at the school. So there was a massive, massive impact on my day-to-day life. I couldn't go and get Sophia from school. I was relying on people taking her for me and picking her up. My poor husband, he was cooking the dinner every night because I just couldn't move. I was in so much pain. And everybody kept saying to me, you need to claim benefits or whatever, like DSL or whatever it is. And I was like, no, I'm not going to. And this is when the doctor whacked me up to the highest dose you possibly could get, to the 50 microgram an hour. And I just, it was horrendous. It was horrendous. So I ended up going to the pain clinic. Now, I'd never been to a pain clinic before in my life for my fibromyalgia. I'm glad that I did, though, because he actually sat there and he said to me, why on earth have they put you on 50 microgram an hour of fentanyl? This is something that we give patients in palatable care. This is something that will just completely and utterly just change you. You don't want to be on it. It's not good. So we want to take you off. That was my comfort blanket gone. It was like, oh my goodness. it was just, yeah. So they decided to take me off that, so I had to come off of it and then go on to something called pregabalin, which is what blocks the receptors in the brain from sending you messages. It stops all that. It's to do with nerve endings. But I had to come off the fentanyl, and that was probably one of the worst things about the whole condition, was that I actually cold turkeyed, and I had to go through it 3 times. Because I went from being on 50 milligrams an hour, on micrograms an hour, down to 25, and then from 25 down to 12, and then from 12 down to nothing. And this, at the top end, was really bad. Halving up was really, really bad. Going down to the middle bit was quite hard, and then the very, very end of it was hard as well, because coming out completely out of my system, it was horrendous. It was horrendous. But, you know, the good thing about it was that as I came off it, I was coming back as a person. I started coming back, my personality started coming back, my character was coming back, my humour was coming back, and the pain was also diminishing. The pain was like going, and it's almost as if the painkiller, what was actually trying to help me, was actually causing a lot of what was going on, and it completely debilitated me. And I remember probably about 4 weeks after I'd actually come off of it completely and was able to go back to work, somebody at the school gate took a double take and said to me, "Oh my goodness, I didn't recognise you. Where have your walking sticks gone? You can see the pain has gone out of your face. You can see that you are just, you're in a different place. You just look so much healthier. You look 10 years younger." Best compliment ever, telling a woman she looks younger than what she was. And all of a sudden, I was back. I was back as a person. And the saddest thing was that Sophia didn't know me. Sophia didn't know me as a person, because she only knew Mummy being on morphine. She didn't know Mummy as Mummy and what Mummy's sense of humour was. And I've got to say now, I look back and I think, why did they put me on all these medications, when if they'd have put me on the pregabalin to start off with, probably, you know, I wouldn't have gone through it. And then I wouldn't have known that it was an issue. But yeah, it, like, Sophia is now, has taken the last 6 months to get to know me as I am, and we're always giggling and laughing, and we play all sorts of games. I'm always tickling her, we chase each other, and I'm doing things that a mum should be doing, rather than sitting there being like an old grandma. And I will be completely and utterly honest, my mother-in-law and my mother are both fitter than what I was throughout them years. They were able to do more with her than what I ever could. So I'm just so grateful to have my life back. And that is why I have changed, because this is me that you're getting. This is how I am all the time. This is me talking. I mean, I'm talking to I'm talking to a camera, but I'm talking to like a friend or my hubby. And yeah, it's just great to be back. It is great to be back. I do go through times where I am paranoid, and I do go through my obsessive ways that I have, but that's just me. I can't help it. That's how I've always been. But my personality is back. My character's back, and it is so nice. It is so nice. So yeah, where I am at the moment is that I still have pain. That isn't going to go away. It's part of the condition. I accept that, and I know that they're not going to be able to find a magic cure for it, because there isn't one. But I've accepted it, and I'm living with it, and I'm enjoying my life again. And rather than being stuck on the settee 7 days a week, not being able to lift my head up hardly, and just being completely zoned out and sitting there thinking, do you know what, I just wish that my last day would come. And that is seriously how you become tired of life. And now it's different. Now it's all good. So anyway, that's my story. So if you've got to the end of this, please have faith. Okay, if you're going through something where you can't see an end to it, there is always an end, always a light at the end of the tunnel. And it doesn't matter how hard it is, you always have to do the next thing. And you know, I recently watched Frozen 2, and there's a storyline in there where Anna is like completely and utterly devastated, and she sings a song saying, do the next right thing, do the next right thing. And that is the only way to carry on. It is absolutely true. You have to get up, and then once you're up out of bed, you have to then go and sort your kids out, go and do, you've got to put your best foot forward, and that doesn't matter what situation that you're in. Obviously if you're debilitated and you can't walk, fair enough, but yeah, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there, Mr. Daddy Pig?
Oh, Bonnie.
Oh, Bonnie, next door neighbour's cat. Winnie's sister's out in the garden. I'm just saying to my guys about how I have changed since I come off my meds. He doesn't like talking on video, bless him. He does not. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you found some help in this. And remember, if the doctors do keep piling medication onto you, do question it, because they're not always right. They get it wrong. They get it wrong. And why does it sound like I'm blowing raspberries? It's not me, it's Steve. Anyway, thank you so much. Love you guys lots, and I'll see you in the next video. So you take care, babe and beauty babes, and yeah, see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.